So the Orochi version 2 is Razer's latest wireless release, and it's available for about 80 euros in Europe and about 70 bucks in US. I've already made one video about the Orochi version 2, so I won't go too deep in terms of performance. But the main thing you need to know is that the wireless implementation is very well done and the sense of performance is great. It's not on the level of the Viper Ultimate or the Superlight, but basically in practice you won't feel any difference. Meaning that at least the performance for your money ratio is very good. But as I mentioned, there is already that one video about the Orochi version 2, so if you want to see that, click the card on the right corner. But in this video I will focus on the build quality, click filling, shape and other things that I could not talk about too much with the prototype. But let's go ahead and start, and if it so happens that you haven't seen a single Razer Orochi version 2 video yet, the Razer Orochi version 2 is basically a small, ergonomic, lightweight, wireless gaming mouse. Razer's marketing calls it a portable gaming mouse, but I myself think that it's sort of an insult to the mouse. I have the custom version myself, and it's of course one of the most beautiful mice I've ever seen. But in all seriousness, the lines are not exactly as I put them in the customization process, and the gradient has these sort of lines and it's not as smooth as I would like. But this is something I was kind of expecting from mass-produced customs. If you want a perfect custom mouse, get one from Nacho Customs or something, but that of course costs a lot more than this one. The build quality in my beautiful custom Orochi version 2 is extremely good. There is no flex anywhere to be found, the shell doesn't really even creak, and the top shell that's interchangeable doesn't even wobble. So super happy about the build quality of my unit. All in all, it's really good to see this good of a build quality in a mouse that has a replaceable part like the top shell that you can remove here. By the way, for weight balance purposes, I've been using the AAA battery, and I'm using it on the AA battery slot, and then I just put some tin foil in here, and the weight balance for me is pretty much perfect. I mean, it's of course not going to be as good as the Superlight, but it's still very top tier, and I do not even notice any kind of imbalance at all. And the weight with a AAA battery for these custom versions seems to be around 67 to 68 grams. The coating on the custom version of the Orochi version 2 is sort of a mixture of a matte and glossy coating. I mean, the paint on top of the top shell, it makes it a little bit more grippy than a standard matte coating, but I would still definitely say that this is more of a matte coating than a glossy one. The coating on the sides is more of a standard kind of matte coating, and it's slightly textured. It feels very good in my hands, and there are no fingerprints anywhere whatsoever, even after about 2 weeks of extended use. The mouse feet on the Orochi version 2 are pure PTFE, and they glide very well on my hover pad, for example. Any kind of control pad has very good experience with the Orochi version 2. I would say that with speed pads, there is a little bit too much speed for a mouse in this size category and this weight. So I do prefer these kind of control surfaces that are fairly smooth and provide good amount of stopping power and some static friction with the Orochi version 2. Other than the humble pad, for example the GameSense radar, the Xtrfy GP4 and the Artisan Zero do seem to perform very well with this mouse. The main mouse buttons of the Razer Orochi version 2 are using the Razer mechanical switches. To my understanding, these are basically Razer modified KLGM 4.0s. The click feeling is super nice and tactile, and they are very easy to actuate. They are really easy to spam click, and there is pretty much no pre-travel on either one of the buttons. The left button has a minimum amount of post-travel, but the right button has some more. But both of these buttons still feel very good to me. I assume because of the post travel they sound slightly different, but I do not really care about that. The side buttons then again are some of the best side buttons I've ever tried. They are very well placed for my grip style and hand size, and these are easy to actuate. They are very crispy and tactile. There is some post travel, some pre travel, but it's a very minimal amount. I would say that these are actually top tier side buttons to me. One thing that could cause some issues to some people is that these are somewhat small, but to me, because the placement is so good, these don't bother me at all. The scroll wheel then again is very top tier. It's quite light, but still has very defined steps. To actuate the scroll wheel button, you need a medium amount of force. But here is a quick sound test for you guys. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well. Looking at the shape of the Orochi version 2, it's a very small mouse, and from the top side and from the bottom side you can basically pretty much see that it's kind of this egg shape, where both of the sides are rounded so that it definitely does look like an egg. So on the left side of the mouse there is this thumb rest, which you can definitely feel. It's actually more aggressive than what it looks like. Like, doesn't seem like that much deep of a curve or that much aggressive of a curve, but it definitely is. So it does feel somewhat aggressive, but it feels super good when you grip the mouse. And then when we look at the right side is somewhat flat, but there is still this ergonomic curvature, or it's this like egg-like curvature, so it's curved a little bit on the right side as well. But it's small. It's definitely a small mouse, but I would say that it's a very good mouse for fingertip grip on my hand size, and pretty much I would say for any hand size. But the one thing here is that this is one of the first ergonomic mice that I do absolutely enjoy fingertip gripping. And by default, I don't usually even enjoy fingertip grip that much, even for a mouse like the MZ1. It just felt unnatural. But because of the thumb curve on the Orochi version 2 and the right side curvature, fingertip grip does feel quite natural to me and it feels comfortable. I still of course prefer claw grip in-game, and I definitely do not see myself switching to fingertip grip just because of this. But then talking about claw grip, it's super comfortable for me to claw grip this mouse. You can basically do a relaxed kind of claw grip where you have your fingers like straightened out, and then you can do a more aggressive claw. And with the aggressive claw and this mouse, my fingers are pretty much in line with the sensor. But what the sensor position here does is that when you move your mouse with your wrist, there is a lot more motion recorded by the sensor. Consider if the sensor position was here. So yeah, there is not a lot of motion here. Okay, sensor position here, not that much motion. If the sensor is positioned here, there is a lot of motion. So it sort of feels like you're playing with a higher sensitivity or with more DPI, or there is some DPI deviation. But the fact is that it's just the sensor position here that's making you think this. Looking at the measurements, the Orochi version 2 is very short, as it's only 108mm in length, but it's 60mm wide. So it's definitely not the thinnest mouse you've ever used, but this also heavily depends of course on where you grip the mouse. And lastly, the height is 38mm. The hump on the Orochi version 2 is pronounced, but it's sort of towards the middle of the mouse, so it's definitely not on the way when you fingertip grip the mouse, but it is still there to support your palm when you claw. The back of the mouse is also this kind of diamond shape, which means that you can drive it deep into your palm, and this can help with vertical micro adjustments. So I got really nothing to complain about the Orochi version 2. I guess it could be a little bit lighter weight as it's so small, but that's basically the only thing, and it's mostly nitpicking for me, as 67 grams is low weight enough for me. There has been a lot of discussion about the value for money that the Orochi provides, and in my opinion it's pretty much exceptional. I mean, the performance is great, the build quality is great, it's quite lightweight, it has very good feet. What's there to complain? I mean, I guess it could be considered a negative aspect that it does not have a rechargeable battery. But in my opinion, disposable batteries are justified at this price point. If you watched my previous Orochi version 2 video, you might remember that I performed very well in-game with the Orochi, and now that I actually have my own custom mouse, it of course improves my aim even further. At least about 15%, maybe even 25%. I mean, having your name on the mouse has to improve aim more than RGB does. And I think RGB improves your aim like 10% or something. But that's pretty much it for this video. The Orochi version 2 in my opinion is an absolute banger. It might even be my new main, but I won't say that for now. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.